We're going to dedicate the class Leilui Nishma, to the elevation of the soul Ben Zion Chaim Ben Avigdor HaKohen. Neshama should have a Aliyat Neshama, and also Mordechai Ben David. Is there also Aliyat Neshama?
Yes.
Aliyat Neshama, and for the success of David Ben Shaul. Amen. To have unbelievable success in everything that he does.
Amen.
And we'll take the opportunity to bless everybody also with success. Whoever needs success, whoever needs to find their other half should either find their other half. Whoever needs to have kids should have many, many healthy kids. Parnasa, nachat, yirat shamayim, anything that your heart desires and you need, Hashem should bless you in the best way possible. And the most important blessing, that we all merit to see the coming of Mashiach with our own eyes. Very, very soon. And thank you, as usual, Avisha and Liat, opening your house. Now we have a beautiful background. I'm like surrounded by the giants. So it was Mamash Hashgacha Prati the other day in the lecture in Woodmere. I told some of the ladies there, I don't like how I look. And why don't you like how you look? I look like all the other Orthodox people, and then I'm being judged the wrong way. So one of the ladies says, so how would you get dressed? I said, I want to get dressed like the Ben Ish Chai. So Bezrat Hashem, maybe next tour. Bezrat Hashem, if you see the change in the attire, be like, okay. Tov. So first of all, I'll start with an apology, but with an explanation. And I've been speaking Baruch Hashem for over 10 years, more intensively about 8 years. And I have a pattern. If I see a lecture that the world is stopping me to get there, it's going to be a very, very powerful lecture. Just yesterday, there was an event in Queens by Chazak organization, a very beautiful and amazing organization that they operate around the world. And it was maybe 6 years, I think, give or take, that they invited me to a lecture. I got stuck on the way, pulled over, flat tire, anything that can happen. I was like an hour late to that lecture. And that lecture got online, hundreds of thousands of views. From that lecture, I know personally people who became observant, beards, yeshiva. We established a class after that lecture that ran for like 2 years. That lecture ended up being powerful. And I noticed that every time that if there's a lecture that the world is stopping me to get there, that I know this is going to be a very important lecture. And I got stuck without gas. I still don't have gas. I don't even know how I got here. I was debating, should I stop and put some gas in and push it another 5 minutes? I was like, no, I'll somehow get it. You know how in the new cars it tells you have 100 miles to go, 50 miles to go. I already passed the zero a long time ago. There's nothing. You start the car and there's nothing. No, they should have a message that now you're driving on a miracle. And I'm telling you, anything that I got pulled over, anything that can happen, I'm talking about now. And the GPS is taking me every time it's about to do a turn. I missed the turn. It was taking me around. So obviously tonight is going to be a very important lecture. And yesterday night, one of my assistants was asking me what's going to be the topic, so I can maybe make quickly a flyer. Maybe we'll advertise it a little bit. And I told them, first of all, don't advertise it. It's going to be small. It's going to be last minute. You don't need to advertise it. But the topic, I said, I don't know what to talk about. I think I'm just going to come and just talk about something. And she told me, why don't you talk about achdut, but unity? I said, okay, that's something we can all work on. And she was like, why don't you talk about achdut and peace and love? And she gave me a few things. Told her, that's going to be a very good idea. And she said something very smart, and she said, if you teach people how important unity is, and how important it is not to fail, chas v'shalom, in this unity of sinat chinam, And one of the things that causes a lot of sinat chinam is Lashon Harah. This is one of the most severe sins that most people fail. I gave a very long lecture not too long ago about Lashon Harah, but the severity of Lashon Harah, and I quoted the Rambam, who says that there are 3 severe sins of idol worship, forbidden relations, and bloodshed. The 3 famous sins that Adam HaRishon failed in the beginning, and later on it's carrying with us through our entire history. Up until the first Bet HaMikdash was destroyed from these sins. And Rambam says these are the most severe sins: idol worship, forbidden relations, and bloodshed. But Rambam says that Lashon Harah is worse than all 3 of them together. That's how severe Lashon Harah is. And unfortunately, most people fail in Lashon Harah. I don't think most people are even educated how severe it is, and not only how severe it is, but what is really Lashon Harah. And I'll tell you what's worse than Lashon Harah is believing the Lashon Harah. To say the Lashon Harah, that is severe, that a person can lose his entire olam haba from slandering another person. And I don't want to talk about tonight about what it really means, but that's for another time. But Lashon Harah is very severe. But you know what's worse than that is accepting it and believing it. One can say, listen, I don't want to hear Lashon Harah. But most people are like, what did he say? Who? Him? Who said that? You know, the ones who say, listen, I don't want to talk about Lashon Harah, but, so there's always a but. I don't want to say Lashon Harah, but. And then it says, I don't already know who, you know who, said to you know who, that's it. Who? Who said that? Just the other day, somebody told me something that happened, and out of instinct, I said, who said that? And he says, I don't want to say Lashon Harah. And I was like, good. I don't want to hear. He's like, you sure you don't want to hear? And in my mind, I'm like, of course I want to hear. Who am I kidding? I want to know who did that. And this is a very big temptation. Of course I want to hear. Now, in your mind, when you're saying to Chalel Shabbat, to desecrate Shabbat, okay, no. To eat chazir, to eat pork, no. What's the big deal if I'm going to hear who said this to that? It's not such a big deal. You know what a temptation it is to say, I don't want to hear, but really I do want to hear? So there's always going to be the ones who says, listen, I don't want to talk Lashon Harah, but you know what so-and-so said? So that's bad to start with. But it's much, much worse when you hear already the Lashon Harah and you believe it. The right way of this saying is, I don't want to hear. If I already fell for the trap and I already heard, to say, you know what? We just learned the other day, one of the most important things that our sages teach us constantly. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Maybe we'll do like a general a talk about everything. But our sages teach us something that is one of the most powerful and most important things in the Mishnah, in Masechet Avot, in Tractate Avot. And they say there, Dan kol adam lekav zchut. Always judge every person favorably. You know why? Because how would you behave if you would be in that scenario? It's very easy to look at a person and to right away cut. Look how he's behaving. Look how he's talking. Look what he did. It's the easiest thing to look at somebody and to judge them. We don't even notice, but we are so judgmental towards other people. We right away slash people before we even gave that person a little chance. And our sages tell us, always judge a person favorably. Because you know what? How would you behave if you would be in that situation? How would you behave if you were in that place? Maybe you would behave worse than him. So this is one of the most hardest thing to do, is to always look positive at another person. And I know the Yetzer Hara will right away tell you, but that person is a Rasha, he's evil, he's mean, look what he's doing. Why don't you look in the mirror? Or maybe hire a photographer for 3 days to walk around with you with a camera, and you'll see how you behave. You don't behave that great yourself, by the way. Just that in my eyes, I see this way. So I don't see how I'm behaving. And, when I became, more active online, for years I would give lectures and nothing of them recorded. In the beginning I used to record it by audio. So I have thousands of hours of audio classes, never went up online. Who wants to hear audio right now? Let me see a video. But nevertheless, then I started recording videos, and I would look at my own videos and also edit them. And it taught me so much about myself, looking at myself. How I move, how I talk with my hands. Just the other day, in the lecture on Sunday in Great Neck, a young man, unbelievable family. I'm so proud of them. A family that converted about a year ago. And I know them from, not from the beginning, but from way before they started the conversion, and how they got so excited about Judaism, how they started following the Torah, slowly leaving the church, and I saw their change. And then now I see them, they're all Jews, they're all converted, he has a beautiful beard. I mean, she's in Midrashah, the mother, I mean, it's unbelievable for me to see. That's like seeing my kids. But nevertheless, he came and he showed me something on his iPhone, that the iPhone has some feature that it gathers all sorts of pictures and all sorts of videos, and it puts a background music, and you have like a little slideshow. So it was done so cool, because it had pieces of my videos, pictures and everything. And I was looking at that, and suddenly pops out a video that I'm not going to do it now live, but my finger's in my nose, and I'm looking for some gold there. And I was like, oh, that's a nice video of me. And that's when you realize, oh my gosh, I also pick my nose. I thought it's only other people do it. And you don't even notice how many times your hand is here, and somebody's looking at you and like. So we also pick our nose. We also do all sorts of weird things that if I would see how I look, then I would be embarrassed sometimes how I am. So we're kind of aware of what's going on around me when I'm next to people. Around the house, Hashem Erachem, what you do around the house when there's no cameras and no people. So it's very, very easy to look at another person and to judge, not knowing that, wait a minute, how do I behave? How do I talk in public? How do I look at people? How do I answer people? So our sages teach us a fundamental part in my being is don't be judgmental. We spoke about throughout the last week in so many different, beautiful, different lectures, different topics. But I mentioned so many times, and Bichlal, I mentioned in most of my lectures, that the reason why we came to this world is not to eat, procreate, make money, have an account on Facebook and do a lot of thumbs up. That's not the purpose of life. I came to this world for one main thing, and that's to refine my characteristics. It's called Tikkun HaMidot, to refining my character traits. And I always will have negative character traits. I can be quick to anger, I can be very judgmental, very impatient, late, vulgar, loud, whatever it is. And I also always will have good character traits, charitable and kind and polite and so forth. And we don't even notice what's exactly in my list that I need to repair, or I should say more refine. Some people, they're very quick to anger. They get angry like that. This is called midat hakaas, the attribute of anger. This is a very bad midah. Everybody has to work on themselves. And some people are very quick to judge. It's a very bad midah, judgmental. And a lot of people are so judgmental towards others that it's disgusting. And some people, are not so patient, and some people might be late or rude, or you have to be humble to say, wait a minute, who am I kidding? I have a whole list of things that are very not good things. The problem is that when I look in the mirror and I want to see negative things, it's very hard for me to see negative things. Because right away my ego will come and tell me, no, you are perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. Look what Hashem did there. This is a symbol of perfection. You know where you really see that is when you have a spouse. When your spouse tells you, why are you so messy? I am messy? Don't you notice that you are messy too? But I didn't ask you if I'm messy. I'm pointing out that you are messy. Most people, they throw the blame right on the other side. So instead of saying, I am messy, okay, I'll pay attention to that. I'll try to pick up my underwear from the floor next time. But the point is that Instead of me taking in criticism, I right away flip it around to the person that is throwing it at me, and I throw it right back at them. Why are you late? Well, you're always late. I didn't ask you if I'm late. I told you you are late. So, being judgmental is a very, very, very hard midah to change, because it means I have to see my faults. And if I see somebody else's faults, then I feel, I'm superior. But you come and tell me now, you're always late. You're very loud. You're judgmental. You're impatient. Why are you attacking me? I'm a nice person. It's not about being a nice person or not. I just don't like when you're coming and telling me that I'm not doing so great. So our sages tell us, before you jump, look at yourself. Judge yourself. How would you react if you would be in that situation? Now put judgment on the other person. So we are so judgmental towards other people that it causes us to hate them for really no reason. Sinat chinam. Why are you judging how that person is dressed? That's when he wants to be dressed. Why are you judging how the person is following the Torah? That's his path. It doesn't mean that one is smarter than the other, but why are you judging that person? Very few people are able to look at any other person and accept them how they are. I will accept you how you are. It's different than me. Who says that what I'm doing is 100% right? And besides, you think in Judaism is a competition? Who's more right? The Sfardis are more right than the Ashkenazis are more right than the Sfardis. There's not a point of a competition here. The other day somebody told me, I was talking about something along that line, and somebody told me, if Hashem doesn't want us to hate each other or dislike each other, so why did he create all these groups? Why did he create the Sfardis and Ashkenazis? If everybody would be the same, then we wouldn't have what to hate each other on. So I told him, first of all, you have the first mistake is even if we were all the same kind, we would still find what to hate each other about. This is just an excuse. But more than that, I told him, Hashem created different sects and different groups, so you can see that you are different than somebody else and still accept that person. And still work on yourself that, this is your belief, this is my belief, we're same faith, then let's accept each other. You'll teach me of yours, I'll teach you of mine, and let's live in harmony. Let me see how I can respect you, even though you are different than me. That's where we're failing. The Kadosh Baruch Hu created us separately, different sects, different groups, different minhagim and customs. Why? Not so I can hate you, so I can see, we can coexist even though we're different. Now this can be between me and another Jew. It can be between me and a Gentile. It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah I have to hate Gentiles. Where does it say such a thing? It says that I have to hate the goyim that are going against us and want to kill us and harm us and annihilate us. Yeah. But a nice individual that is a good person doesn't say that I have to hate my neighbor. If you notice in all the amazing quotes in the Torah about unconditional love, it doesn't say the word Jew. For example, one of the most famous quotes that Rabbi Akiva says is one of the most important things of the Torah, Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. It doesn't say Ve'ahavta l'Yehudi kamocha. It says Ve'ahavta l'recha, to your fellow person. It doesn't have the word Jew there. So I know the commentaries on the oral Torah says Re'acha, your friend, means somebody who's like you in Torah and mitzvot. Saying in other words that even if it's a Jew and he's not following Torah mitzvot, you don't have the mitzvah of Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. But if you want to look at the pshat, at the little explanation of the verse, it says Re'acha, any other person. We just spoke about it on Shabbat, about the famous story how a Gentile came to Bet Shammai and he told him, convert me. Bet Shammai gave him a kick in the tuch and says, get out of here. So he went to Bet Hillel and he told him, I want you to convert me and I want you to teach me the entire Torah on one leg. And what did Hillel told him? What you don't like that this is done to you, don't do to another person. He says, Chavercha, your friend. It doesn't say anywhere they're a Jew or non-Jew. Chavercha, your friend. I have many friends that are non-Jewish. Where does it say anywhere that I have to be not nice to them? Lehefech, the redemption is also for the nations, not only for the Jews. We just learned on Sunday what's going to happen very soon. And we talked about this severe war that is coming, that we can prevent if we will know how to apply this Ahavat Israel, and how to uproot Sinat Chinam, If we're not going to uproot that, we're going to face this war. No question. And if you didn't see the lecture, go online and see the lecture. Because in the lecture I was saying that very soon Mashiach is coming. He can either come nice if we do tshuva, or he can come not nice if we don't do tshuva. If he doesn't come nice, expect a very severe war. Where I gave all the sources that we explained that a third of the world will die on the spot from this war. The Gaon from Vilna said over 200 years ago that this war will take 12 seconds. 12 seconds! How can a man over 200 years ago predict a war that takes through 12 seconds? Now we know all it takes is to press a button and that's it, and the war is over. So we said that a third of the world will die right on the spot, 2.5 billion people. A third will get injured and eventually will die, which will take a whole year, and a third will survive. But nevertheless, that third is 2.5 billion people. So where us and the Gentiles, which means that the majority is the Gentiles, which means that they're part of the redemption. There's a clear prophecy in the book of Zechariah that at the time after Mashiach is going to come, we're all going to be one nation. There's not going to be Jews and non-Jews. We're all going to turn to one language, one faith, one nation, and that's it. So we have to understand that the Gentiles are part of the redemption. We don't have to go against them. If it's Hezbollah and they're trying to kill us, go ahead, then you have to hate them. But if it's a nice Gentile, you have the obligation to teach them that they also are obligated in Torah and mitzvot. They have 7 mitzvot, which is more like 70 mitzvot. You have to teach them. So it doesn't say anywhere in the Torah specific words Jew. It says chavercha, re'acha, your fellow, your neighbor, your friend. So I have to understand that the basics of the Torah, look at all these great quotes. Rabbi Akiva says about Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha klal gadol b'Torah. It's the most important rule in the Torah. This is a verse from the Torah. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Now you know what's the chidush with Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha? If you ask a person, what's Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha? What's the translation? You should love your fellow person like you love yourself, right? That's the translation. Ask any person what it means. It means that I have to love you like I like myself. There's a greater chidush, a much more deeper meaning to that. Ve'ahavta l'reacha, you should like another person kamocha, like how Hashem loves that person, not like how I like myself. Kamocha, how Hashem likes that person. You know that if I'm looking now at a person and I have hate towards that person, you know why I hate him? He's more successful than me. He has a nicer car than me. He has the newer iPhone, whatever it is, his wife is more attractive. I don't care. People hate for ridiculous reasons. But I can look at a person and I hate him. Why do I hate him? I don't know. Like I told you, he has a better car, a better job, more money, a nicer house, and so forth. Don't you think that God loves that person? I'm not talking about now a terrorist, that you have a mitzvah to hate him. I'm talking about another, here, 2 Jews. I'm standing in the shul, next to me stands another Jew. We both go like this. Okay? I'm holding a Sephardi Siddur, he's holding an Ashkenazi Siddur. And in my heart, why do you hate him? He's also praying to Hashem. He's also eating kosher like you. He also rushed to come to the minyan. He wears tzitzit, yarmulke, he's careful with kashrut. Why you hate him? Because his hat is going like this and your hat goes like that, or whatever it is. Why you hate him? Because he's Ashkenazi and you're Sephardi? Why you hate him? I'm not talking about right now a terrorist that wants to kill you. I'm talking about your fellow Jew. Why do you hate him? So we have to understand that I might hate him. If he's standing next to me and he's praying, means Hashem likes him too. What, Hashem only likes me? Hashem loves him too. Must be. There's something amazing that Hashem loves him too. So when the Torah says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, Ve'ahavta l'reacha, love your fellow person, kamocha, like how God loves that person. If I hate you for whatever reason, the deficiency is me. I am the problem, not you. And even if you went against me, because a lot of people say, listen, you know why I hate that person? He talks Lashon Harah about me. He slanders my name. He tried to, or he cheated me in business. Or he does something. But what do you think? That he's the one who initiated it? He's just the shaliach. He's not the person who does that. How many times somebody does something bad to you and you hate that person, right? What's the best advice? Why you hate the person? Don't you understand that he's just the stick of Hashem? and he's just the one who's coming to bark at you, means that if I get hit now, for whatever reason, lawsuits, whatever it is, Lashon Harah, I did something wrong. Hashem is telling me, you did something wrong. I'm sending now the Doberman to bite your toches. And you're now upset at that person? He didn't do anything. He's just a messenger. Don't hate him, hate yourself, and look at yourself, what you did, that you aroused on yourself this judgment. That person is a messenger. Don't hate him. You know, if you take a stick now and you hit a dog, the dog will attack the stick. He's not going to bite you. He doesn't know that you are hitting him. He will bite the stick. So I get bitten, somebody comes and attacks me, and I have the chutzpah to say, I hate this person, he's going against me. No, you did something wrong, and Hashem is sending you a slap to your face to wake you up, and that person is just a shaliach. Your test is to say, thank you, shaliach, I love you, thank you for enlightening me. You know how many times I share the same story? I'm not going to say the whole story now because it's way too long, but about 10 years ago, give or take, I had money, we had a business, and I had the $1 million idea. $1 million idea, $1 million a month idea. Some software, nothing existed like that at the time. I don't think something exists like this even now. My profession was I was a photographer, and that was something that any photographer will use, and it was like this brilliant idea. We had a lot of money, we invested a lot of money to develop the software. Less than a year, the developer who was supposed to do the job didn't deliver anything. $250,000 later, I had zero in my hand, nothing in my hand. And needless to say, this is pretty disappointing. A lot of money went, a lot of time, hope, potential profits. It was a very big thing. And it was a huge test not to be upset at that person. Now, this was not a person that lived off in India, some offshore programmer. That was a member of our congregation that I saw every day, 3 times a day, praying next to me. I was the Gabbai of the shul. He was the only Levi in the shul. There was no Leviim in the shul. I had to call him up to the Torah 3 times a week and give him a bracha, 4 times a week actually. Monday, Thursday, Shabbat in the morning, Shabbat in the afternoon. You know what a test it was not to say Lashon Harah about him and tell everybody what he did? What it means not to slander him? And a few people, I knew what's going on, they didn't know who it is. People told me, sue that person, take him to court, rip him to pieces. He didn't do anything. Took money and I don't know what he did. It was a huge nisayon not to hate him. And worse than that, it took a few months of a lot of deep breaths, a lot of meditations not to strangle him. And then he had the chutzpah after a few months to call me and tell me I still owe him $30,000 for previous work that I didn't pay him. Excuse me? Excuse me? It was a huge, huge nisayon. Not to hate him. Not to slander his name. Not to go and say Lashon Harah to the whole time. To tell, you know what a temptation to stand in the shul to tell everybody, you know what that guy did to me? Don't use him. And other people came to me for reference. We know he worked for you. Is he good? Can I hire him? Hire him. So this is a big test. And worse than that, later on came even a bigger test. He moved into my building. Every morning the door, the elevator opens, ding, to see him in the morning. So it was a very big test not to hate the messenger. And later on, Hashem Yerachem, his son became very, very sick, very ill. You know what a test it was? Not to be happy and to say, he deserves it. Now he's getting paid. You know what a nisayon was to be? To pray for the child and not to be happy that he's now suffering. So why am I telling you all this? Because the test was not to hate the messenger. For me, it was a lot of reflecting that I am the one at fault here. I did something. And now I'm getting paid back. I'm getting paid back. He is the messenger. Must be that I did this to somebody in my previous life. Or maybe in the physical previous life, a different incarnation. Maybe I did that to somebody. Now the tables have changed. Turned. In my secular life, I was pretty crooked in business. Maybe that's all the money that I owed people and I couldn't find them. Now it was taken. I don't know. I put all the blame on me. There wasn't any hate and resentment towards that person. I'm not saying it was easy. I'm just telling you what was the result. Don't hate the messenger. Somebody does something to you, it means you did something, and Hashem is turning a mirror at you. Now, don't be upset at the messenger, be upset at yourself. So it's very easy for us to right away cut a person with feelings of hate and resentment and being judgmental towards another person. But the Baal Shem Tov says that any person that you look at and you see something bad, it means that you are seeing what's bad in yourself. And instead of being upset at that person, tell that person, thank you so much for enlightening me. If not, I would never see that. So, the point to take from that, there's many points to take from that, but one of them is look at yourself before you look at another person. Because one thing that would cause sinat chinam, hate for no reason, some things are very superficial. Because he has more money than me. Because he's more successful than me. Because his business is similar to mine and he's successful and I'm not. And whatever it is, I can give you now a million reasons why people hate another person. That I would call it even stupidity. Being so shallow that you hate another person because you don't have what that person has. But there's many different levels of sinat chinam, and one of them is that a person did something to me. Now, here it breaks into two categories. A, that the person actually did something to you. And you have all the reasons of the world to hate that person. And there are many cases like that. So how many people come and tell me, you know what, that person did something very bad to me. How many women, their husband doesn't want to give a get? They have a good reason to hate him. And again, it's the same thing. He's the messenger. And I'm just giving one example out of many. But we all have, I'm sure, at least one encounter with a person that did something really bad to you. And you say, I have all the reasons in the world to resent that person. But no, that is just how Hashem turns it around. Do tshuva. You did something. Or accept it as something that you are getting a rectification from. Before I say the other option, that the person did something bad to you, the two options here, before I give the example, the two options here is, one side is the person actually did something really wrong to you, and you are 100% right. That's the first option. The second option is that somebody told you something that it's not even true, and you hate that person, and it's not even true. That's the problem with Lashon Harah. That you can develop hate towards another person because person number three, a third party, lied about that person, and you believe that, and that causes you to hate that person. So just to give an example on the first option, there's a very famous story with the Holy Ari Kadosh, and a story that happened in Tzfat, where I live. And it happened about 450 years ago. There was a very, very rich, wealthy man that had a daughter, and he could not marry her off. Doesn't matter how much money he had. He offered top dollar to find shidduch for his daughter. Couldn't find. Years passed. Finally, she found a man. She comes home. She tells her father, I found a chatan. Oh, great news. Let's see who's the man. She brings him some skinny guy, pale, a yeshiva bacher, learns Torah all day long, barely sees the sun. And what is this? I need somebody to come into the business. I need some shark. Why are you bringing me this yeshiva bacher? Learn Torah all day long. That doesn't interest me. I need somebody to help in the business. Bring me some good material. Anyways, long story short, the father said, no, Nebuch, that's what you brought. Finally you get married. Good. Comes the day of the wedding. The father comes to the chatan, to the groom, and he gives him a huge amount of money. And he tells him, this is half of what I own. Now I know you're going to sit in yeshiva all day long and learn Torah. I know you're not going to work. I know you're not going to support my daughter. So I'm giving you half of my fortune to support my daughter. That's a pretty good father-in-law. Okay. Weeks pass from the wedding and the daughter dies. The father goes to the groom and he tells him, give me back my money. The groom says, I'm not giving you back the money. It's my money now. And the father says, no, I gave you the money so you can support my daughter. Now the daughter died, so give me back my money. The groom says, no, it's my money. It was rightfully given to me. So, two good Jews, they go to the Beit Din. Which Beit Din they go to? They go to the Beit Din of Maran Yosef Karo, the Beit Yosef, the rabbi who wrote the Shulchan Aruch. He was the Av Beit Din. They go to him, present the situation. The Beit Yosef right away says, the money has to go back to the father. No question here. The groom says, I don't agree with the Psak Halacha. What do you mean you don't agree? That's the Beit Din. That's the Bet Yosef. He's telling you what's the halakha. I don't agree with that. I want to see the Arizal. Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. What do you want to see? What do you think is your friend? You just walk in and talk to him? I want to see the great, the holy Arizal. Okay, they go into the Arizal, present the case, and the Arizal says the money should stay by the groom. The father says, whoa, 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 whoa. Excuse me, Your Honor. But the Beit Din said that I get the money. Why are you saying now that he gets the money? The Arizal says, listen, Arizal has Ruach HaKodesh. Arizal, we didn't have many individuals in our history like the Arizal. He says, listen, if you want to go by the halakha, you're right. The halakha says that the father has to get the money. But I will go one step above the halakha. And the Arizal says to the father, you, this young man, and your daughter are an incarnation from a previous life. And in a previous life, all three of you were business partners. And you and your daughter's soul, which in the previous life she wasn't your daughter, but the souls of both of you cheated the partner out of his part. So all three of you came back into this world today, and now you give him back his money. Now, if you want to follow the Beit Din, give him back the money. But you know what? Not you, not your daughter, and not this young man will have a rectification for the sin. You're all going to come back here another time to fix it. Give him now the money, finish with it. Your daughter will go to Gan Eden, she'll get a tikkun, you will get a tikkun, everything will be good, and you move on with your life. Wouldn't you want to do that? So how many times, why am I saying that? Because so many times somebody did something bad to you, stole money, embezzled you, did something severe. And you should say, you know what? Maybe it's a tikkun. Maybe that money doesn't belong to me. Maybe I did something to that person in a previous life and now we're exchanging, we're changing. Last year I gave a lecture here in Queens and this lady came to me and she told me, listen, I don't know what to do. I got married to a man many years ago. We started a business. She told me I did the business. I developed everything. The business became multi-million-dollar business. Now my husband somehow got me out of the business and he gave me a get and he divorced me. And he's married to another woman. I am left with nothing. I barely pay my one-bedroom apartment rent. And this guy's a millionaire. And worse than that, he's now married to another woman and all his money is going to her kids instead of our kids. What should I do? So, first question I told her, did you ever go to court with him? She's like, of course. I was like, so what did the court decide? She said, well, he won. He has a lot of money. He had good lawyers. And I was like, and what did you do? She was like, well, I appealed and we went second time to court. And I was like, okay, and what happened then? She was like, well, I lost again. So I told her the story I just told you with Arizal. And I said, you know what? I think the money doesn't belong to you even. So let it go. Let it go. Don't have the feeling that you built a company, you did everything, you brought the millions, and he's now enjoying it. Take it as if that, there was some type of a tikkun here. And if you twice went to court, and the money didn't rightfully go back to you, maybe it's not your money. Maybe you just came here and you're now doing some type of a tikkun. Let it go. And if the money is yours, you get your money. Nobody can take anything that belongs to you. No such a thing. People think that you can take something of me. How many times a person comes to town, new business, and the other person thinks, no, he's going to take it from me. Nobody's going to take nothing from you. Nobody is allowed or can take anything that belongs to you. Unless you do severe sins and then you give it over to that person. You know how many cases in Sinat Chinam is a person is afraid that you're now the new boy on the block, you're going to take the highlight, you're going to take the spotlight, you're going to take the business. That's what you're afraid of, that somebody else can take your business? Just now I told the exact same story to somebody else. I heard it firsthand from a friend who had a car service business here in Brooklyn many years ago. He was one of probably the first ones who started with the car service. Now any person who has a minivan does car service. And now there's Uber and everybody's a car service. But nevertheless, he had a car service business many years ago. And some person caught on, saw that it's a good business, and he bought a minivan, started putting ads. I also do car service. And person number one got very upset. What is this guy doing? It's my business. Yeah, well, you don't own the city. Nevertheless, person number two that bought the van made these little notes, went and hung them all over the walls around the community, around the neighborhood. and started getting jobs. So one time, person number A, the one who had the initial business, goes in the streets like a maniac and he starts pulling down all the flyers. Happens to be that he bumps into a very great rabbi. This is a true story. I know all the people involved here. He bumped into a huge rabbi who told him, "What are you doing? Why are you like a maniac ripping ads off the walls?" He tells him, "This guy, he's doing a sagat gvul. He's going into my territory. I'm here for 20 years. I do car service. He comes here now and he's some rookie putting signs in it. He's taking my parnasah. He's taking my livelihood, my customers." The rabbi told him, "Let me tell you a story. There was once a little town, and that little town had only one butcher. Everybody went to that butcher. Now this little town had a market. And the market was positioned in such a way that you enter the market from here, and you go through the market all the way to the end, and it's a dead end. You make a U-turn, you come back out. The butcher was all the way at the end, which means that anybody who wanted to buy meat had to go through the entire market. One day, somebody, after many years of him being the only butcher there, one guy came and opened a meat store, first store in the market, which means that you just go into the market, meat store. Which, of course, many people says, "Why should I go all the way to the end? I have it over here." So slowly, many people started buying from the new butcher. One time, somebody went to the old butcher and told him, "Tell me, did you notice that somebody opened a meat store right in the beginning of the market?" He says, "Yeah, of course I noticed." He says, "You don't care that he's taking away your customers?" He says, "No." "How come you not care?" He says, "He might be taking my customers. He's not taking my parnasah. Nobody can take my parnasah." And that rabbi told the car service guy, "Yeah, he might be taking your customers. He's not taking your parnasah. Nobody can touch your livelihood, not even $1. So why you hate him? Why are you resentful? Why? He also needs to make money. He also has kids. You're the only one?" Where I live, there's a long road, the famous road in Tzfat. It's a midrachov, a paved street. There's 7 pizzerias there. You think they're eating each other? This guy makes a pizza like this guy makes a pizza like that. One is better, one is less. 7 pizzerias. You know how many shawarmas are on the same street? You live in New York, you know how many lawyers are in New York? And you're the only lawyer. So, looking at the first angle of this sinat chinam is, yes, sometimes, and many times, we'll do bad things to you, real bad things to you. Oh, I hear things, Hashem Erachem. Husbands that don't give their wife gets, partners that embezzle money, stories, Hashem Yerachem. And a person says, "I have all the rights in the world to hate that person." Wrong. You have zero right to hate that person. That person is a shaliach of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he was sent by Hashem to do something. And you have to pull down a partition and say, "Thank you, Hashem, for enlightening me. Now let me open my eyes and see, why is this happening to me? Why is that person doing this to me?" And you know what? Usually you are right. And your argument is to say, "But I'm right. He's wrong. He's doing it to me." Yeah, you're right. You are right. But you think it's an argument right now if you are right? My father told me advice 30 years ago that up until today it's engraved in my memory. This is the best advice I ever got in my life. He told me, in this world, don't be right. Be smart. Because even if you are 100% right, who cares if you are right? Be smart. Don't get into arguments. Don't get into any type of situation that you will fail. If you did something bad to me, now I start hating you. You're not allowed to hate. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבביך. You're not allowed to hate. This is a sin from the Torah. This is not some quote. This is a pasuk from the Torah. לא תשנא את אחיך בלבביך. Don't hate your brother in your heart. More than that, you know what hate develops? Right away, Lashon Harah. Right away, you start slandering the person all over the town. So now you are failing in Lashon Harah. It was yesterday, right after the lecture, I spoke to a few people, and somebody was in a similar situation like that, and I told her, "Listen, I'm going to be very, very vulgar with what I'm about to say. But why should you suffer from the stupidity of somebody else?" Sorry to tell you, I don't do that. I will never take on myself suffering because somebody else is stupid. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry I'm using that word, but that's how that person had to understand that. If somebody did something wrong to me, or they doing something wrong, I have to suffer because of the ignorance of another person? Somebody did something, I have to hate him and say Lashon Harah about him? I'm the fool right now. If you did something to me, and I develop resentment and hate towards you, and I go and say Lashon Harah, who's the fool? You. You said Lashon Harah. Sorry to tell you, you dug yourself a hole you're not going to get out of. Because he did something to you. And most likely, why did he do it? Because you deserved it. You did something that you aroused a judgment against you. So if you're smart, you're saying, oh, that person did this to me, it's horrible, I am right. But again, in this world, nobody's asking you if you're right or not. Nobody cares if you're right or not. Be smart, take a step back and say, first of all, no Lashon Harah. Bunker, not saying anything. Why should I fail in Lashon Harah? Why should I fail in hating? Why should I fail in so many other sins? Because I actually did something wrong and I'm getting the smack into my hand and I'm upset at the one who smacked me. Be upset at yourself. So this is one type that you are actually right and the person did something wrong to you. But then there's even worse than that, that you can come and tell me about person number 3 that said something against me, which is 100% of a lie. Now I hate that person. So I'm hating somebody because somebody else lied, slanders his name, and the Lashon Harah is not even true. Which is not called Lashon Harah, by the way. Lashon Harah, when it's true, the difference between Lashon Harah and slandering, Motzi Shem Ra. This is Hotza'at Diba. It's even worse. Lashon Harah is true. You did something and I say that person did that. It's nobody's business for you to say that. That's Lashon Harah. Lashon Harah is what happened is 100% true. Motzi Shem Ra, slandering, is that I make up a lie about you. People lose their business because of slandering. People lose their status. You know, today, you can destroy a person like that. One post on Facebook, and people are waiting for the juice. So how many times did you judge a person because you heard Lashon Harah about that person, and it's not even true? Now you hate that person, you are continuing this chain of Lashon Harah, you resent the person, sinat chinam, and you making one big shakshuka, and and the samech mem is dancing from joy. You know, that's what the samech mem is the devil. That's what he wants. He less cares if you desecrate Shabbat or not. The samech mem in our generation is so vicious. All he cares is for us to fight. That's what he wants. And on the way, if he can make you to desecrate Shabbat and steal and lie, this is throwing more wood into the fire. But the devil in our generation, the Samech Mem, all he cares is one thing. Division. How can I make them fight? And when I start fighting, that's it. He got it. He got us. This is called Mecharcher Riv. That he's coming and he said, she said, he said, he's coming and making a shakshuka there, and then everybody hates each other. And 90% of it is not even true. He goes and says to this person, that person says that about you, goes to this person, he said that about you, and start making a whole mishmash. Now everybody hates each other. Ooh, now the Samech Mem marks a check, a V, I got them too. We have to be very, very careful because of the trickiness of the Satan. He's trying to trick us. Every time that I get into some type of a disagreement, and you get that about 10 times a day, right away I pull back and I take a step back and I say, whoa, okay, let me process. Because you get into disagreements every day. With your spouse, with your kids, with your neighbor, with random people in the street. And if you're smart, you don't even get pulled into it. It's very easy to be pulled into the disagreement. Why? Because you have an ego, and your ego is not happy that you are wrong, or that somebody told you that you did something wrong and you actually didn't. Our ego can go out of control. If you're smart, you take a step back and you're saying, wait a minute, let me digest this whole thing and then I'll come back. And you will notice that 90% of the disagreements that you get pulled into, this is 100% the weaving of the Satan, of the Samech Mem. How am I going to get between these two people? So I can start hating you. Because what caused the destruction of the Holy Temple is Sinat Chinam. Straight out. The first temple was destroyed because of idol worship, forbidden relations, and bloodshed. What I said before. Since the sin was revealed, then the length of the exile was revealed. When they went out of Yerushalayim, the Prophet told them, 70 years and you're making a U-turn. And that's exactly what happened. 67 years later was the story with Haman, With Purim, 3 years later, they came back to Yerushalayim, exactly like the prophecy. But the length of the exile was revealed because the sin was revealed. The second temple was destroyed 420 years later because of sinat chinam, hating for no reason. Now, since the sin was not revealed, then the length of the exile was not revealed. Now, what does it mean the sin is not revealed? Idol worship, you see me bowing down to the floor. Murder, you see me murder. Forbidden relation, 2 people are included in here, at least 2 people. It's all revealed. Sinat chinam, I can look at you and smile, good morning, how are you? And in my heart, I hate that person. Can't stand you, I can't stand you. That's sinat chinam. So since the hate is, the sin is not revealed, then the length of the exile is not revealed. And we are still in exile, by the way, only from sinat chinam. Don't think it's anything else. If anybody comes and tells you, we are not prepared, we don't have enough mitzvot, nonsense. You ever seen so much Torah in any generation? There was never such a generation that had so much Torah. Yeshivot everywhere. Every corner you look, you have yeshivot. Millions of hours of Torah on the internet. Millions of CDs, applications. Never had so many Torah. How many speakers you have? Now you go online, woo, a dime a dozen. Not that I'm chas v'shalom taking from the honor of anybody, but we have Torah all over the place. You can have Torah in the middle of nowhere. You'll find Torah. Charity, chesed, thousands of charity organizations. Everybody's included in all these charity organizations. A lot of chesed. So we have a lot of everything. We have a lot of mitzvot, a lot of prayers, a lot of batei knesiot. How many synagogues we have in the world right now? We never had so many synagogues. But we're missing one thing. Sinat chinam. Everybody hates each other. And that's why we're in exile. So you have to be very careful that you're not failing in sinat chinam. That you are not going to be the cause that is preventing from the redemption to come. You have to look at yourself and saying, I do not want to fail in sinat chinam. What do I need to do so I can love any other person like I love not myself, like how God loves them. How the Kadosh Baruch Hu loves that person. And if I'm looking at you and I resent you, but you are shomer Torah and mitzvot, and even if you're not, Hashem must like you. If not, you wouldn't exist. Then what does Hashem find in you? This is called the opposite of lishfot adam lechovah. This is judging a favorite favorably. I might not like you, but you know what? You seem to me like an amazing father. I don't like you, but you must be such an amazing Baal Chesed. You must be giving a lot of tzedakah. You teach Torah. How can you hate somebody that does what Hashem does? What Hashem wants him to do? So you have to look at them at 2 different places. 2, let's call it categories, or 2 paths. One of them, just so we can summarize it, is that you can develop resentment and hate towards another person because they did something bad to you. And the title is, I'm right. I'm right, so I have to resent them. No, you are not right. And even if you are, who cares? So you have to remember that any person that did something wrong to you, don't hate that person. Look inside yourself. What did I do? That person is attacking me in the financial department, a lawsuit or something like that. Must be that I did something in that department of finance. That person is slandering me and making me look ridiculous. Maybe I did that to somebody else. That's a sign. Don't hate any person that does something bad to you. Not the policeman that gives you a ticket in the morning and you curse him and throw at him any disease that exists in the world. Sometimes you see that poor policeman writing a ticket and you already curse him that his head should explode and he should get any affliction that in Mitzrayim they didn't have, he should have it. Why would you do that? The poor guy is doing his job. He's giving you a ticket because you probably did gezel, or you took money. Gezel means to steal, but in a way that the other person doesn't know that he has financial loss, and you don't know how to give that money away because that was 20 years ago. So now you get a ticket. So shut your mouth because Hashem took that money into now you even. Why are you upset with that person? Sometimes people drive in the street, a car cuts them. Wow, what curses go out from your holy mouth. You curse him, his mother, his neighbor, his sister. How do you know who's that person? Why would you want to bring any negativity to the same mouth that a minute later you say Shakon Yabidoro? You think your prayer is being answered when that same mouth slandered another person? Don't think for 1 second your prayers are so heard. If the same tool that says the Baro, Shakon Yabidoro, or Tfilat Shmona Esrei, don't think your prayers are going to be answered if that same mouth lied, cheated, slandered, cursed. You're taking the same tool to praise Hashem to curse another person? You have to think about it logically. We rush to shul 3 times a day. How many times do you pray? All day long we pray. So the same tool that praises Hashem, that's a tool that destroys? So you have to understand, wait a minute, why are my prayers not answered? Because you lie. Because you curse. Everybody curses. All day long. You cheat, you slander. Don't think that the prayers will be answered so quickly. So taking like I said, the first category, we'll call it, that's when somebody does something for you. It arouses you to hate that person. So don't hate that person. And everybody has somebody like this in their life. And a lot of people have a very good reason. You know, when people came to me telling them that hashkafa, that way, and they tell me, but the person raped me. The person molested me. No matter how you answer that. The person bumped your car, fine. The person slandered your name. How do you answer a young girl who says that? Why should I not hate that person here? He molested me. 2 weeks ago, we had a group of girls from a certain organization, young girls, 40 girls. And their common denominator, the group where they are, is they all got molested. They're all girls from religious families. Doesn't matter from where, but they all got sexually harassed. In a severe way, not like telling them that they're attractive. In a severe way. Now how do you tell a girl like that, not talking about now to believe in God and to be shomer Torah and mitzvot, how do you tell a girl like that not to hate the person? So we're not going to go to these extents, but nevertheless, why am I saying that? Because everybody can say, yeah, but that person really deserves that I will hate him. But don't you understand, when you hate another person, you're hurting yourself. You know why? Because hate is something very negative. Now, if I keep in me something negative, who's suffering? Me. I won't be healthy. I won't sleep well. I won't think well. Why are you suffering from the stupidity of somebody else? Let it go. I didn't say you have to like that person. But don't hate. Don't carry the hate. Now, this is severe. Now I went very, very extreme. Because I don't want too many questions to come up. We have to cover all grounds. But us, regular people do things to us. They take us to small claims court. They do a job, and then you paid, you didn't do the job, whatever it is. I'm just coming up with all these different scenarios. Put a partition and say, I'm not hating the person. Definitely don't let it lead you to Lashon Harah, slandering, lying, revenge. People right away, okay, how am I revenging? That purple, excuse my language, screwed me? I'm going to show him. What are you, out of your mind? That's what you're bringing yourself to? I'm going to show him? You're not allowed to revenge. That's a severe sin in the Torah. You're not allowed to revenge. And many people say, oh yeah, he did that to me? One day. No, you're not allowed to do that. I'm just giving all these scenarios because we have a severe problem of hate. Sinat chinam. Now, of course, there's the other category where I said when the person didn't do anything. You know how many people hate another person when he didn't do nothing? Not to them and not to anything. It was just a lie. It was just a lie. Now, if you listen to the lie, if you listen to the Lashon Harah and you believe that, don't think that your sin is less. Your sin is worse because you listen to the Lashon Harah and you believe, now you hate another person. And I can't give you enough examples. And there's no point of giving examples. You already will develop the thought by yourself. So we want to conclude with saying that the redemption cannot come in a smooth way if we still have this cancer of Sinat Chinam. This is a cancer in our nation. And don't think for 1 second that it doesn't exist. Don't live in denial that, no. Sinat Chinam? I don't see Sinat Chinam. You know, sometimes I tell people that they have Sinat Chinam. They're telling me, oh no, in my community, everybody loves each other. Well, the Sinat Chinam is under the surface. Doesn't mean that you see it. But the point is that we have to understand, go to the reference of the lecture that we had on Sunday, that Mashiach is about to come any minute. We have a positive prophecy that the Geulah can come quiet, bechesed ve'berachamim, with kindness and mercy. That's if we all do tshuva. And don't be alarmed, we don't need all the world to do tshuva, we need a group. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says in the Zohar, Im Israel osim tshuva, miyad nigalim. If the Jews do tshuva, right away we get redeemed. But that's almost impossible. How are you going to make now 15 million people do tshuva? So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says we need knishta chada, one strong group. So we want to be that group. And then the redemption will come bechesed v'rachamim, as we say 3 times a day, v'techezena einenu, that our eyes should see shuvcha leTzion berachamim, that you return to Zion. Zion is Yerushalayim. In mercy, who needs a headache? But chas v'shalom, if we don't get our act together, there's a clear prophecy in Hosea that how the redemption is going to come. We're going to get squeezed in such a severe way, and I think you're seeing it with your own eyes, that the rope is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, to a point that there's not going to be more room to squeeze. And then of course the redemption will have to come in a severe war, and the destruction is going to be unbelievable. So we got to wake up and understand that where we're failing, and I can tell you the most severest place where we're failing is this unbelievable sinat chinam. And sinat chinam, it starts branching out, because sinat chinam is the cancer of everything. I wanted to talk about the positive part, about achdut. Achdut is the unity. How can you have unity if there's sinat chinam? You know that about 3 years ago, I wanted to initiate an event with a very special individual from Los Angeles, who said, let's make a unity event. Achdut, we'll call it Achdut, the Achdut event. We'll get all the famous rabbis in the world to come to this event. 3-4 days of a marathon of lectures, and all the famous speakers in the world. Baruch Hashem, let's say 20, 30, 40 of them. And the theme is that it's unity. And we're all going to stand on one big stage. One is with a black coat, another one with a short jacket, one with a shtreimel, and one with a hat, one with a white yarmulke, one with a peot like this, one with a peot like that. Everybody together, hugging each other. That everybody can see, oh, our rabbis, our rabbeim can do it, we can do it. We started moving around the wheels, and have you heard about that event that actually happened? It didn't happen. Now, we didn't have problem with money. That money was not the issue. Space, choose a big city, Los Angeles, New York, Florida. There are convention centers. You can have 20,000 people in there. The problem was that every rabbi that we turned to, well, who's going to be there? So-and-so. No, I'm not coming. Why? But it's achdut. I don't want to be in the same stage with this guy. Why didn't you hear here? It's an event of achdut, of unity. Who's going to speak first? So-and-so. I want to be first. Okay, but we scheduled you to be number 3. No, I'm first. If I'm not first, I don't want to be there. We couldn't get this event rolling. And just that you understand that this person that I'm talking about used to run the events for Tony Robbins. Events of 50,000 people. You know who Tony Robbins is? One of the, like a motivational speaker. He used to do his events. This is not a person that doesn't know how to make events. We couldn't pull it together. And the ones who are very diplomatic, the rabbis, they didn't say no. They just say, when you get it together, call me. Yeah, but we need you already on board, and we need you to start pulling your connections. No, when you get it, when you pull it together, I'll come. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, right. You're going to give us some excuse that you have some lecture in New Zealand. So we weren't even able to do that. You know, a few years ago also, I came up with a bold idea, and I was like, why don't we get the top 1,000 rabbis of the world? The rabbis of all the groups and congregations. 1,000, I'm not talking about 3 or 20 or 50, 1,000. The head rabbi of this group, the head rabbi of this group, the head rabbi of this group, Rabbanim, you know, the heads of Batei Dinim, all the top rabbis, put them all in one room. And say, listen guys, we're all serving the same God. We're all learning from the same Torah. We all put tefillin in the morning. We all have students. We all have shuls. We all have yeshivot. Why don't we make some campaign that we switch the students? You give me yours, I'll give you mine. And we make a huge campaign, and we're showing our followers that we as the rabbis can get along. And we give a live example, and maybe the congregations and the followers will get along. And that was the theory, of course. And I said, you know, it would never work. Because one person would say, okay, who's the chairman of this group? Me. No, you're Sephardi. Okay, so me. No, you're Ashkenazi. No, me. No, you're Chabad. It would never work. It would never work to put everybody in that room. That's how pathetic it is. That's how sad it is that we can't get even the leaders in one room. And trust me, we tried, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one who tried to get everybody. There's always going to be excuses. Oh, so and so is going to be there. No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be in the same stage with him. So we have to understand that we have a cancer in our generation, that we can't stand each other and we can't tolerate each other. And the opposite of unity is separation. That's what the Satan wants. So I was talking about the negative side tonight. I wanted to talk about the positive, the achdut, the unity. But either one, they go together. If there's unity, then there shouldn't be sinat chinam. There wouldn't be sinat chinam. If there's sinat chinam, there would never be unity. And just the other day, I'm not going to give too many details because I don't want any Lashon Harah, but somebody that I know went to another shul in a certain city to show, here, I can come to yours. Let's be together. We can switch shuls. So some people looked at it in a very nice way. It wasn't one person, it was a few people that they went from shul number 1 to shul number 2. That the two shuls are like, and they went into shul number 2. In the beginning it was quiet. Some people stood up and shook their hands, and at night, the rabbi of shul number 2 called the individual and told him, I don't want you in my shul. Don't come here. Not you, not your friends. And then people don't understand why we where we are. That's sinat chinam. There's no unity. So it starts with us. It's very easy to talk. Talk is cheap. But each and every one of you. Now, you know what? Why it took me an hour to come here? Because the Samech Mem doesn't want me to say what I just said tonight. There might be a few people here, but you know how many people see there? Thousands of people. Thousands and thousands of people are behind a screen watching this. And the Samech Mem was like, I don't want him to say what he has to say, so I'm going to make him late. So half the people will get upset and leave. Did anybody leave before he came?
No.
Baruch Hashem.
More people came.
And I already in my mind, the whole time, I'm like, wow, what a lecture. Oh, wow, the Samech Mem is kicking me in the gut. Pulling all his magic things from his hat, just that I'm not going to come here. And in my mind, I'm knowing, okay, I'm expecting the worst. In this situation, I know, I drive very carefully because I know he's going to do something. So I can get in an accident or something. But in my mind, in the back of my mind, I knew if I'm late so long, must be that the message is going to be piercing. And the Samech Mem is like, I'm going to sabotage this. I'm surprised there's even internet to even broadcast it. And there's no lightning now that the camera would explode. But that's where you see that the light is more powerful than darkness. Darkness is always going to try to be demolishing and disturbing. But if you have the right attitude and emunah, bitachon, trust and faith in Hashem, you cut through the darkness and the light wins. How we say in Hebrew, lo yazor beit din. Even a beit din will not help you. The light is always more powerful than darkness. So must be that the message was so powerful that all the powers of the world stopped me from coming here. So you are first-hand hearing it, and thousands of more will hear it. And that's what we need to do. If we're not going to do this change, go to the lecture I said on Sunday, listen to the references, and that's what's going to happen. And trust me, you don't want it to happen. Because then when there's a war, there's everybody loses. Nobody wins in a war, by the way. And Chas v'Shalom, if this Gog Magog will actually come into the world and penetrate into the world, Hashem Yirachem how it's going to look. The Chafetz Chaim said over 100 years ago that the third Gog Magog will make the Holocaust look like a walk in the park. That's a prophecy from the Chafetz Chaim. This is not a prophecy from 2,000 years ago. When he saw World War I started, he said that's the first Gog Magog. Second World War, and then at that time he said in 25 years from now, second Gog Magog will start. And sure enough, exactly 25 years between World War I and World War II, 1914 to 1939. And he said that 70 years later, after the second Gog Magog, will start the third Gog Magog. And that would make the first two look like a joke. Who wants to get into this? And everywhere that I go to, I was now here before I came here, somewhere else, and everybody's telling me, everywhere that I go, everybody's telling me, listen, I feel something's happening here. What's happening here? Everywhere that I go, this trip, people are telling me, is this time to leave? Well, I feel something cooking in the air. Yeah, something is cooking big time. You gotta hold on real tight, because when the storm is gonna come, Hashem Yerachem, how it's gonna affect everybody. So we want to do preventive medicine. We want to not let it even happen. And if I can't save the whole world, let me save me and my loved ones. So it has to start in a very immediate way. We have to stop with the sinat chinam, stop with the slandering, stop with the Lashon Harah, apply as much as we can unity. Whatever way you can do it, then it has to be done. It has to be. I don't understand how people are not running in the streets screaming it. I don't know how there's no campaigns. I do not know how the leadership of the rabbinical authorities are not doing that. That's where the Zohar says very clearly that before Mashiach is going to come, we mentioned the sources on Sunday, this is in Tikkunei Zohar. It says before Mashiach is going to come, the religious leadership will be Erev Rav, a mixture of people who have nice long beards and black suits. You understand why I don't want to wear the black suits anymore? But the black suits and the beard, and they're all going to be Erev Rav. All just trying to, how am I going to make a mishmash here? How I'm going to now make corruption and power and slandering and separating everybody, all in the name of the Torah. So we got to be very careful. We have to see the truth between the truth and the lie. So we want to conclude that the point, we want to take something out of lectures. You didn't come here for the sushi. You know, it's amazing. Before here, I was in another lecture, and they came and they served sushi. And they're like, do you want some sushi? And I was like, I'm here in America for a week. All I eat is sushi. I already look like a roll. I'm not joking. Every lecture, that's what they bring, sushi. So I'm like, they told me, do you want sushi? I told them that's, and pizza. Yeah, pizza was on Sunday, Baruch Hashem. But pizza is not so easy eating with a beard, by the way. So trying to put that slice, like, it's not also a nice sight, by the way. Somebody once told me, he invited me to eat shawarma, and the smell, it's drooling here. He couldn't see it because of the beard, but the smell. And I told him, I'm sorry, I can't eat. He's like, why not? I told him, can you imagine me like this, putting a bite into a shawarma, and all I need now is a paparazzi taking a shot and having my face on Facebook now. I look like that. And then all the lettuces here, and this is Msirut Nefesh when you want to have a beard. You can't eat certain foods. So sushi, you just throw it. So before they told me, you want sushi? Sushi again? My wife is telling me, I hope you're eating good. Oh, I'm eating good? I look like a sushi already. So I hope you didn't come here to enjoy the sushi, right? I saw sushi when I walked in. It was you came here so you can take something more of what I said and take it out and apply that. If you do that, you are a winner. If you don't do that, then do it. You want to, not only that, you want to move out of this door and say, how am I 100% in the eyes of Hashem? Where can I stop the sinat chinam? Where can I stop the division? Where can I bring unity in any way possible? Sometimes it's not the head. Sometimes the small people have to do it. And sometimes you have to understand, I have to do something. I have to initiate a certain action. Bezrat Hashem, you apply that into your life. A, I guarantee to you, your life will be better. B, other people's lives are going to be better. You know that most people suffer because of their own self-hating, jealous, animosity feelings that they have towards others. People get sick from hating another person. People get cancer, lo aleinu, because they're jealous, because they can't stand another person. You know, our sages say, rekev atzamot kina'ah. This jealousy makes your bones rot. People become sick because they can't stand their neighbor. Who needs this headache? Why would you want to? I see it like, I told you before, I told that woman, why would you hurt yourself from somebody else's stupidity? So we have to look at it in such the right eyes. No hate, no resentment. Apply this unity and love. So your life will be 10 times better. You know how many times I give the same example? I fall asleep like that. Literally, I put my head down, out. Sometimes I don't even put the head down. I just put my back a little bit and I'm already falling asleep. I'm already asleep as the body's going down. My wife always gets very upset. How do you fall asleep so fast? It takes me like an hour to fall asleep. This side. Tell them, well, first of all, I have an hour to sleep. I can't waste time. But more than that, nothing bothers me. Nothing bothers me. Do I look bothered? I'm not bothered. Not by anyone and not by anything. I don't owe anybody anything. Not an apology, no money. If I owe somebody an apology, then let me know. Because I did it without knowing. but I don't owe anybody anything. And nothing bothers me. Not financial problems, not when you go and say things about me. It doesn't bother me, doesn't get to me. I don't let anybody's stupidity affect me. I'm sorry I'm saying that, but that's the attitude. So I fall asleep like right away. Because nothing is in my mind. Why did that person say that about me? Why is that person talking about me? Why is that person doing it to me? To me! To me! So, so be smart. Don't be right. Be smart. And we have to bring the unity into our nation. So our lives will be better. So our family and community's life will be better. So we will be able to bring the redemption faster. So we'll be able to save ourselves from this headache. Bezrat Hashem should only bless us individually and as a nation only with besorot tovot. Hashem should ligzor lachem gzerot tovot, should have only positive decrees. Everything evil should be removed from our existence. And we should merit bemet to see with our own eyes that our eyes should see the coming of Hashem to Tzion, to Yerushalayim, with mercy, with love and mercy, and we should finally see the coming of Mashiach with our own eyes. Thank you so much.